tafanya venye nadai, hakuna msee atani show. Unaweza friziwa na umelipia tiko, ushaipitishwa pale ya kupitiki bro, kaweni fast boda buda mindo principal. Wagwanga people, is BoiBlacc. This is Artist Spotlight on Kenyanvibe. So BoiBlacc is a representation of the things, the ideals that I hold dear to myself, right? And also just ideally making the type of music I would want to listen to. Unaweza friziwa na umelipia tiko, ushaipitishwa pale ya kupitiki bro, kaweni fast boda buda mindo principal, kawaida sinaga was slowly moving and on the flow. So yeah, I grew up in Buru for a while. Then majority of my childhood was in South Sea until now we moved back there. I think there's something about Eastlands, it's like a melting pot, but also the experiences that I got to have, you know, when as a young person, especially Eastlands, utapata vijana wengi wa upotea along the way. So between like 16 to 26, you find a lot of the people who get into trouble with the law and everything. Even a 27-year-old is quite old, you see. So like seeing people kind of go off the path, seeing people choose different things, and some people actually become themselves, it kind of gives an insight into your choices as a person. And I always felt like I had to do more in terms of self-actualization, right? Yeah, so that's one thing. It was very clear that I needed to kind of stand out, right? And I couldn't do this from within, but I could shed light on the stories that were at the time, because they did shape a lot of the music that I've made to this day. Yeah. So I'd say between 2017 to date, I overthink less. I think we usually obsess about our music, about certain things and how people will take it and think about, just generally take our music in. But now I think over time I've become comfortable with even topics that are not, how do I put it, topics that are a bit more delicate, I guess, or triggering. I feel like if it's something that I'm passionate about and it's a thought I have, I might as well, you know, make a song about it. I may as well talk about it in my music without fear of being rebuked or retribution or whatever it may be. I'm okay with people not liking the alternative I offer. In the past 10 years, I've become very comfortable with that. If I have something to say and it's valid, this is the one time that you'll actually have to listen. Yeah. The time when we were recording Black Circle, we were recording from Zazi Africa Studios. I was in Rongai, and at that point in time I was in ADMI, and I was I would say more radical, for lack of a better word. So this album was basically my unfiltered thoughts on life as it is, on culture, on my day-to-day. It was very unapologetic, and I think that was the first time when I decided to kind of not pull punches, you get, but it was ideally like an anthem to my beliefs, you get, myself and Kilihipi. So it was a point in time where it's two individuals who have met and decided that we have the same ideals, basically. And Black Circle was a combination of these things, and even the consequent, tracks and records that we worked on were basically that. Everybody knows yo, sikuwa ubaya, I'm sorry. Supali na makwa ibada, maombi kwangu mwenye dhambi juu ni nini sioni. Kimya kutazama sibongi bila kiko takaushwa na. For the longest time I wanted to work with HR the Messenger. And then around 2020 when we were recording the Black Circle, we did a song with him. Didn't meet him, again, like I told you, schedules don't align, but if you have a studio and I have a studio, you can do the thing. We recorded a song and it's somewhere on someone's right this day. But later on we actually got touch base and work on music, right? And that was more of how do I put it, wasn't as competitive as it usually tends to be with rappers, and I liked that because it's someone who respected my work, and it was the same feeling across the board. Also with when I started, whenever we'd rehearse for live shows when I was at ADMI, it was a form of cognitive dissonance, because with rappers, like I was saying, you'd find that we all sit in our little corners and craft, because I'm trying to come up with the most compelling bars that I can come up with. And now here jamming with singers, it's community, we're all participating in it. So I found myself to be the only one who didn't know what was going on, you see. And even in more recent writing camps, there's a camp we had with Njiru, Ochiko, Modest. It was a bunch of us. And you'd find, for instance, maybe Ochiko has something, and Modest will ask, or Njiru will ask, or whoever is going to ask, what do you have? He's like, this is what I have. We're like, oh, nice, let's run through it. Someone starts playing a guitar riff, and it's like, now we're building. So with singers, they were building a song, you see. So here we're building a song. It was different. Whereas for rappers, or producers, I will make the beat and then I will write to the beat that I have made. So it's kind of reverse. Here it's like we're building it from scratch. We'll have an idea, and then after that, now we'll compose the other instruments around this idea that we're working on. So that was it was fascinating, but also a bit unnerving at the same time. It was very intentional from the start, when we were making this entire discography with Kili Hippie, that was the brand, and we were going to lean into it as much as possible. It was, how do I put it? It's one thing is a continuation of the other, right? Yeah. So that was the goal. Also, it could be a pan, and also it's BoiBlacc, and it's a Blacc discography. My take on it is there's a time when just after high school, there's a producer who basically did a lot of mentoring for me, because we'd record music with him, and in as much as a lot of it was never really released, there was the approach he had, where he was like, as Kenyans, we don't speak fluent Swahili. We speak English, a lot of English, but Sheng is a pidgin, because it's a combination of vernacular languages in Swahili, right, and English. And you'd find that if we're talking even right here, I'd be talking Kiswahili, and in normal conversations itakuwa, hey Buddha, sijui mbona unani avoid. You see what we're doing? Get that type of thing. There's no times someone will say unanifilisisha or whatever. You see, yeah. So it's ideally just the way we talk, and then also you could switch. Because I've grown up in South Sea and I've grown up in Buru. In South Sea, I'd get away with certain things, but if I go to a certain neighborhood, if any of us go to a certain neighborhood, your Sheng will help you out a bit, So he told me that the approach is like, don't try to, because with hip hop, USA is the poster child for hip hop. It's the template. So that's why most rappers, actually, as a rapper, you need to sound American. You get, even at least now with the grime and everything, and the British music scene, they're locked in on what they do, but the American accent is a template. However, if you are trying to brand yourself, if your identity is Kenyan first and then global later, then it would be easier to approach these things the way a Kenyan would. The way we speak is now we don't stick to one language. We actually tend to mash it up a lot. And now he just told me to use the same approach when it comes to my music. So I find it, at first I used to find it more challenging writing in Swahili or Sheng. But over time I realized that it helped even with the carryover to English. Because initially when I started out, it was strictly English when I was writing my raps, but then incorporating the Swahili helped really ground it. And I feel like there's people who resonate more with that. Basically, when we started out doing shows, like live shows and everything, we'd perform with playback, right? And when you're performing with playback, mistakes can happen, you forget your lines, joke on your own voice or whatever. but the playback is there to save you, because even if you're not reciting your lyrics, the playback is playing them back, right? But now you take it a notch higher, and now you have just the backing tracks with maybe your ad-libs or your background vocals, but you have to rap your verse out. So you find that's more challenging, and it requires a lot more in terms of rehearsal, because I wouldn't have to rehearse a song if it's going to be playback. I'll just sing along to it. But if it's a song where now it's just the instrumental and my background vocals, it becomes a bit more challenging, because if I miss something, then I've ruined that particular song, and maybe even the entire set itself. And then again, during the time when I was at ADMI, we had access to a full band, right? So we had the drums, we had the bass guitarist, the acoustic, and everything. That was even more challenging, because live instruments are very powerful once you power them up and everything. So now you have to learn vocal technique. See? So that was also very challenging. But I realized that it allowed for fluidity. I could change the set as I pleased. I could move and also I had now to kind of interact with the band, because with the playback, even without the vocals, if it's just a stripped down track, it's very static. But with a live band, you have to communicate with your drummer, you have to communicate with the bassist, you have to communicate with your other singers, your background singers, that type of thing. So now you have to multitask at the same time, perform, and you're still anxious, you see. So the pressure is much higher. But I've realized that it's very obvious that you actually need to rehearse diligently before you go to stage or you start touring, because it makes all the difference, and you're more confident if you have rehearsed, because the anxiety will always be there before you do a show, but you're in a better place if you actually ran through your sets. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And I mean, in a perfect world, I would just write music, but at points in time, it requires you to wear the different caps, as you say, because do you have money for a makeup artist? Do you have money for promo? Do you have money for even a publicist? So you don't have money for a lot of these things, and it forces you to wear different caps. But you realize that somewhere halfway across the world, there's an individual who will, for instance, Bruno Mars. I cannot confirm this or deny, but I'm sure for a fact I'm nearly right on the money. Imagine Bruno Mars akuja kae Lamu for 3 months, right? Just having a good time, doing just party treats and shit, you know. Meanwhile, there's someone back there writing his next album, right? Because Bruno is a very, very, very talented performer, right? So there's someone writing these records, and this person loves just writing music, never wants to perform, just loves doing that. And they get paid to do that, and they will get their royalties, because it's Bruno Mars. Who wouldn't want to write for him? So after 3 months is done, they call Bruno Mars and they tell him that your record is done. We need you to come back to the studio and record, right? So he comes back, and within a month, give or take, the album is ready, right? How much do you think he had to compartmentalize in terms of doing ABC? He was on vacation, right? Meanwhile, you have to get up, go to work, because you have to pay bills. Maybe you're in school, so you have to study for that. Maybe you have siblings, maybe you have a significant other, maybe you're a parent. So at the end of the day, when you're done with all these maintenance activities, now is when you get to making music. It becomes a bit difficult for you to realistically say that you'll become like Bruno Mars. You see, so it becomes easier when you have a team around you, and that's why community makes sense. You see, because now I have a clerk around me, now I have an MD, so I don't have to worry about what my set is going to look like, because I'll just have him do that for me. So it becomes more efficient when you have other people doing these things, so that you're not a jack of all trades. Now you can actually be an expert at the one thing. See? Yeah. Yeah. Currently, I'm really trying to collaborate with Atenda Willie. Yeah. Actually pitched them a track. They gave me feedback. They gave me feedback, and that was a lot. They were like, they were interested in it, and I was like, you know what? That's fine. I've started to use AI in aspects of production, right? Let's say you're mixing a track. There's times you're mixing a track and you don't know what the problem is. Or there's a problem. You can't troubleshoot. So you'll find there's AI models. Like this particular one was called Kimi. So I asked my girlfriend what she thought of a track I made, and then she told me to send it to her. She requested I send it to her. I sent it to her. She threw it into Kimi, and then Kimi assessed the track and pointed out where the problems were. So as opposed to me trying to figure out shida ni wapi, ni chumvi niliweka mingi ama niliweka mdalasini, whatever. It's like, no, weka roipo, do this A B C D. That saves a lot of time, you see. But here's the thing with AI is that it's only as good as the data you get, right? You can't take away human detail, attention to detail. It's like even when driving, right? You can respond in the nick of time to something, to a sudden change, like, I don't know, someone running into the road, that type of thing. These are things that AI can do. These are things that computers can't do, and there's a reason why we still have people coding the back end of the AI models, because you can't take the human aspect away. You can't, how do I put it? This guy basically explained to me in this way. He said that whatever AI did in, let's say, a week, or rather in whatever time frame, it took them 3, 4, 5 times that time frame to kind of nitpick and take out the problems, whereas you might as well have just done all this work on your own. But I feel like it has a place, because when we started making music, we realized we can actually be bedroom producers, right? Because now all you need is a laptop and a microphone and your interface, whereas 10 years before that you had to have outboard equipment, you had to have a reverb unit, you needed money, you needed wealthy parents, you get. So having softwares like Ableton and FL Studio, game changer, leveled up, and now people like myself could make music with the resources we had. I feel like that's what AI is doing now, and in as much as people feel like, oh, it might take our jobs and all that stuff, you cannot replace human ingenuity, you see. But think about a content creator 15 years from now who has grown with AI for at least 12 years before they start doing the same thing you're doing here. Those people are going to be on a whole other level. The same way the capabilities you have are not the same your parents had. You're more refined version. You're like an upgrade, right? So yeah, that's what I think. But I know it's a bit of a, you may digress, but AI has its place. I think it's very useful, but also if you can tell when people are lazy. You can tell when people are lazy when using AI. So yeah, I don't think it's something that we need to worry about. So you can find my music on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Deezer, Apple Music, the whole nine. Also on IG, on Instagram, it's _BoiBlacc. That's BoiBlacc. It's the same across the board. On TikTok, it's literally lies in but it's because I be trolling like hell. But yeah. Wagon. It's BoiBlacc. Apparently nakwanga rapper na nakwanga mzee. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, listen to my new jam with Osanjo. I'm trying to go a bit left field. It's a vibe. You're gonna love it. It's a thing. Listen to my other releases. I guarantee utapenda hii stuff. Also, keep it Kenyanvibe, your daily dose of Kenyan culture. Rap damu ya mind kupeana sidoi.